Hi there, Lloyd Machedo, speaking to you from LloydMachedo.com, who's Lloyd Machedo and Think Personal Branding. Today, the date is 27th February 2018. Time right now is 4:40 in the afternoon. I got this question from one of my viewers who asked me, Lloyd, how does personal branding help me get, a better job? So I thought I'd, put this question on its head and rather share with you how you can get a better paying job through personal branding. Now, this is a service that I provide professionally. I charge people a lot of money. They pay me something in the range of $1,500 if I have to sit and redo their resume. So not many people can afford this, so I thought I'd give it for free. I'll share with you not as much as the trade secrets, but the process of which I make them go through. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is not like a one size fits all. So use your discretion, see which points help you, and I'm giving you the timestamp down below, so you can check the timestamp of the various points. And at the same time, if you want the article is put on my website. If you do like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down, and do put your comments. And if there are any questions, let me know. So the 7 steps that I make my clients, customers go through. The first one is a personal brand assessment. Okay. Now, if you were to go to a doctor, let's assume you go to a doctor and you say, "Doctor, I'm not keeping well." A doctor, what he normally does is he has a checklist by which he makes you go through. He takes your blood pressure, he checks your heartbeat, he might take your blood test, he might ask you to do 2 or 3 different tests. And after that, he kind of gets an assessment. Okay, this is where you are at the moment. And what he does is he compares these scores or these measurements with what he believes is the standard measurements. Okay, so if in case your body temperature is higher than what it should be, obviously knows you're feeling feverish. So in the same way, when you approach a personal branding strategist, or you approach a coach or a mentor or somebody who would guide you in terms of your career, first we need to know where is it that you stand. So if you were to do this exercise by yourself, what I think you need to do is take a stock of where you are. Okay, evaluate where am I right now in terms of my career, in terms of my position, in terms of my salary, in terms of my the perks, the benefits. Write it down. It's always good to write it down. And obviously, since you would know the standards and you should know the standards being in your industry, compare yourself. Let's say, for example, you're getting $5,000 in terms of your remuneration, in terms of your income, for the position of, let's say, electrical engineer. So compare with the electrical engineers in and around your city, or in and around your state, or in and around your region, and have a look. Okay, is it that they're getting $5,000, or are they getting more? Are they getting less? So you'll come to know where you actually stand. Now, more or less, people feel that they are getting, the average. Okay. However, what I want you to keep in mind is whenever an employer pays you X amount of money, it is always more or less 40% lesser than what he would actually pay. The reason he has given you the job, or the reason he has kept you in the job, is because he knows you are a better deal for him. Especially in the Middle East, what they tend to do is they make people work 2 people's job. They make them work twice as hard. They make them give them 10 times more the value, and they always pay them lesser than what the market pays. And that is why if you are in a job and you don't have any job insecurity, and for a fact you will not lose your job, it is because you're giving that employer 10 or 20 times more the value. You actually you should be really disturbed if you do not have job insecurity. That means you are happy being paid less. So if in case there is, you're always at the edge, oh, I might lose my job because there is someone better, not there is someone cheaper, there is someone better, then you are being paid what is actually the right standards. However, if on the other hand, you're in a job position for 3 to 5 years and you're not worried about losing your job, it's because you're being underpaid. So the first one is a personal brand assessment. Okay. The second one is a personal brand redesign. Now, people, when they come to me, they tell me, Lloyd, I'm not getting a job interview. I'm not getting a chance. I'm stagnating with my career. I do not know what to do. So over there, they feel that their problem is their resume, or they feel their problem is I'm not able to, communicate or network. I'm not an extrovert. I'm very shy. That is what people assume that the problem is. So this is the assumed problem. However, when I speak to them and when I interact with them, after a period of time, I realize what the real problem is. And the real problem is not that they are an extrovert or an introvert, or that they do not know how to make their resume or their document, or they're not good at the interview skills. The real problem is something else most of the time. If you were very rarely, people are good at assuming or pinpointing what the actual problem was or is. Now, what I tend to do is after I sit down with the person, I evaluate where the person is. There are very simple questions to ask. If you would like to ask yourself, let's say the question, say for example, you're applying for a job, you're not getting a job, you're not getting a response. The first reaction that people have is, oh, the market is down, the market is bad. Fine. The second normal reaction is, Lloyd, I think my resume is not really good. Now, I want you to think for a minute. Let's assume you are a CEO of a company, or you are a businessman. Okay? You're a businessman, and suddenly you spot a guy who can give you 30 or 50 times, 50 times more the return on investment than a normal person. Let's say the normal person gives you 20%, but this guy gives you 50%. You think the guy would say, I'm sorry, the market is down, I don't have a position. No, when the market is down, they are looking for really talented people. They are looking for people who can drive the numbers. They're looking for people who can perform. They're looking for people who can bring down the cost. They're looking for people who can manage a larger team. So there is always a demand for talent. Okay, so maybe there's something wrong that you're doing. Maybe it is, okay, let's assume maybe you do not know how to repackage your resume. Forget your resume. Maybe it's not the resume. Maybe it is how you market and sell yourself. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's how you interact. If it's not that, maybe it's how you look. You would not believe this, but many times how you look matters a lot. There are a lot of, for example, a lot of Asian guys who like to keep a mustache, who like to keep a beard, who like to look like, old and like an uncle, like they're dead and, they're pretty desperate. In fact, if you have a look at some of people's resumes, it really looks like a mugshot. A mugshot is a photograph, that a policeman takes before putting you in jail. They're like this, I mean, come on, you need to look visually appealing. If you are going to get married, you would, make sure that you get a facial, you get a great haircut, you look like you're going to star in the next Bollywood movie. But when you're applying for a job, you look like you're suffocating and dying. Come on. So it can be anything from your visual appearance to maybe how you speak and interact within the first 30 seconds to a minute to 7 minutes, how you make them feel. It can also be what you put on your social media. Nowadays, all the companies have softwares, have processes, have people who follow what others do on social media. Why do you think so many airline companies, they just terminate their staff? So many conservative companies, they check what you put on your social media. If anything is that goes against the values of the company, you can lose your job. So the second part of the process is the brand redesign, where I sit and look at everything that the person is doing, from the resume to the speaking skills, to the communication skills, to the interview skills, to what is being put on the social media, to understanding, all this is being evaluated to understand what is the real problem and not the assumed problem. Okay. Now, point number 3 is the actual document, that is the personal brand resume. Now, this is by far the most overhyped, undervalued, and misunderstood material related to personal branding. Now, I'm very sure. I'm very, very sure. In fact, I can literally bet, giving you a free session, when I tell you this, that almost everyone, they try to make their CV by themselves, or they give it to somebody else, or they look on the internet and they change the design. Oh, this design is good, let me copy this template. This paragraph is good, let me copy this. Oh, this vacancy that there is, I will remove all these words and all these phrases and I'll insert them so the SEO will be much better. Here's a newsflash for you. All these ideas that you have thought of from looking at other newspaper ads, from looking at your senior, your manager's resume, looking at your friend's resume, going to an agency and getting it done, everyone has done everything. Everybody does all of this. I have not met anybody who has told me, no, I've not done this. People have done this. In fact, there are some people who copy paste the entire resume. And it's not like I've not thought about this. Okay, so if you thought for a minute that, wow, I thought of this idea, nobody else thought, I'm not going to share this secret with anyone. Everyone knows this. And that is exactly why resumes stop working. They stop working because they have lost their originality. They have lost their freshness. So when you are redesigning a resume or rebranding a resume, it needs to have a personal touch. Now, for example, have a look at my articles. When I write my articles, there are grammar mistakes, there are spelling mistakes, there are so many problems. It's not perfect. However, the one thing that stands out is the language, the mannerism, the style, and the content that I present. It is never copied from anywhere. It is me looking into my own life. Even these points that I'm putting, you may find some similarity someplace, but it is not actually the same as what they are putting, because I'm digging down deep into my life. I'm looking at the personal experiences of my clients for the past 11 years, and I'm, constructing these points. So that is what makes it so very unique. Now, if I were to copy paste from someone else's content, my website would be marked down by the website, and I'd get flagged for copying other people's content. So in the same way, your resume, you just can't. Why do you think I charge $1,500 just to make a resume? Why? I charge, I think, 2 or 3 times much more than a professional company. The reason being is each and every word, each and every statement, each and every phrase, paragraph, line, it is studied. I try to match it to the person, to the job, to the document, and they have to form this perfect triangle. Now, unless and until you do that amount of work, it's not going to work. You can go to Fiverr, you can go to Freelancer, you can go to Upwork, pay $20, $50, just get a template. They just copy paste. It's not going to work. Your document should be so irresistible. By irresistible and attention grabbing, that doesn't mean you put a photo like this. I wish there was one size fits all, but it doesn't. In some cases, you not believe, I actually changed the color to such an extreme that the employer literally got a shock and called the guy and asked him, what's gone wrong with you? Why are you making it such a color? And his response was, it got your attention, didn't it? In some other cases, we tailor-made the language in such a way that the interviewer really found it necessary to wonder, like, wow, why is the guy doing this? And they actually call the guy for verification. So there are different tricks. Remember, the purpose of a resume is not to get a job. This is the mistake people make. A resume will never help you get a job. A resume's purpose is to get an interview. Okay, so that is point number 3. That is the personal brand resume. Point number 4 is the personal brand sales pitch. Now, normally people prepare for an interview, and when they go for an interview, they always like, so my strengths are, I'm hardworking, I'm dedicated, I'm committed, I'll achieve exceptional results. My weakness is I am so obsessed about my work that I collapse. Oh my goodness. It's like as if the guy doesn't know that you're marketing your hidden strength as your weakness. It doesn't work. And if you keep giving cliche answers like, I'm hardworking, I'm focused, I'm dedicated, teamwork, and strategizing and budget reconstruction and fancy words, it doesn't work, man. It just doesn't work. I keep listening to these guys, give me their interview pitch, and it's so pathetic. In fact, you want to really know how horrible your interview skills are, just take a video, ask someone to ask you questions, have a look at the video. You would be, you'd be pushing your claws through the seat. You would not be able to take it. It is that horrible, So what I do is when I sit down with a person to prepare for the interview skills. The interview skills is not just preparing the questions. In fact, if you just Google Lloyd Machedo 81 questions for interview skills, you'll get the 81 questions that I have designed for people. Now, it's from simple questions like tell me something about yourself, which has to be 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, you have to start with the most important thing first, and then it goes down in sequence. You have to give the guy what he really wants to hear. He doesn't care. I was born in this country. I studied in this place. I took up this position. No, this doesn't add any value. It is boring. A child, someone from school or college, youngsters would, have this strategy. Hi, my name is so and so. I was born in this place. I studied in this place. My first position was this. My responsibility. That is how children do it. As a professional now, when I go and meet CEOs, just imagine, I'm meeting a CEO of a company and I need to, kind of try to back the deal to conduct a personal branding seminar, okay? I can't give him all this garbage information. He's busy. He doesn't have time. You need to get to the point. So share the essence of what makes you a brand, that makes you stand out, that gives value to the company, and bombard him with 7 minutes of irresistible content. The structure that I follow is the 303. How can I forget? 30 seconds rule. Then 47303. Nearly forgot 47303. 4 is the first 4 seconds without you saying anything. 7 seconds is after you have said the first word. 30 is 30 seconds after you put your sales pitch. And 3 is 3 minutes. So 47303. 4 seconds is when he looks at you first, the first impression he gets, even without saying a word, he has judged you. Then 7 seconds is after you said the first few words, you have only 7 seconds to cement a kind of first impression. Then 30 is 30 seconds. 30 seconds is where he'll decide, is this guy really the guy I'm looking for? Yes or no? That's where the decision made. And 3 minutes is where your fate is sealed. So this is one of the structure that I make people follow, 47303. Now, what you need to do in terms of interview skills, focus on a 30 seconds pitch, focus on a 3 minutes pitch, focus on a 7 minutes pitch, focus on a 10 minutes pitch, okay, 10 or 15 minutes. That's the max. And you need to have punchline after punchline, interest after interest, with so many interesting facts that the guy really wants to deal with you. It should be measurable, it should be specific, it should be salesman-y type, it should be value-driven. Now, this takes time. That is why when I deal with customers, when I give them the $5,000 package, I tell them it takes 3 months. We have to sit and work for 3 months with all this content, and it takes a lot of effort. So it's not easy. So this is where you really need to dig. Okay, you really need to dig and come out with the personal branding sales pitch. In fact, the ultimate test for this is, let's say, which I say the elevator pitch. You are stuck in an elevator with the CEO of your company and you have only 30 seconds to make your pitch before his flow comes. What would you say that you would say, wow, we need to sit down and talk? So that is the thought for you. Now, point number 5, okay, is the personal brand communication. What do I mean by this? Think Adidas, think Nike, think Coke, think Pepsi, Starbucks, Emirates Airlines. What do you think comes to your mind when I take these names of these brands? What is the message or the slogan or the image or the color which keeps, coming to your mind? Like, for example, Adidas, I would see athletes sweating, impossible is nothing. Then when I'd say Coke, I would see the Coca-Cola logo and people being happy. When I see Pepsi, I see a younger generation. When I see Emirates Airlines, I see an airplane with luxury. And so, each of these brands keep bombarding you with these messages, okay? They keep having these slogans and these images and these colors. So now this is what sets them apart from their competitors. So if I were to say British Airways, you get a feel. Air India, you get a feel. Okay. Emirates Airlines, you get a feel. United Airlines, you get a feel. So in the same way, when I take your name, what is the feel that you get? Does it stand out from the rest of people? Like, for example, LloydMachedo.com, when I say, when you see this face versus when you see another person, what is the feel, the look, the experience that you get? So in the same way, for you, when you take your name, when you take your name, what image, what feeling, what experience do people get? And remember this, it is the sum total of what you put on LinkedIn, what you put on Instagram, what you put on Facebook, what you put everywhere. So if in case on your Facebook you are putting a photograph of you eating a burger, that is your brand image. If you're putting a photograph of you in a nightclub with your friends, that is a brand image. But on LinkedIn you're putting a very professional suit and tie. There's a clash. People begin to wonder, okay, this is what he's showing that he is, but this is what he really is. Yeah, and if, for example, you forward or you like a particular cause, let's say there is one friend of mine, she keeps putting, you're killing animals and all that. So people see her as a feminist, as an animal activist, and that kind of harms her image when she wants to fit into a corporate culture, because maybe this will clash. So keep this in mind. Whatever you put on social media, whatever you share, whatever you forward, whatever you say, that is what forms your personal brand communication. And it's just not you saying, I am the best. For example, me, I tell people, mine is controversy, communication, and charisma. Controversy, I'm always controversial. Communication, I always speak, I always talk, I always put content. Charisma, you see me once, you never forget me. So what is your three, traits? So this is what you need to focus on in terms of your communication. Then comes to the personal brand essence. The personal brand essence at number 6. Now, what do I mean by this? I divide this into two aspects. That is the external point of view and the internal point of view. The external point of view is what should you and shouldn't you post online, or what should you post more, or what should you post less, or what you shouldn't post at all, what groups or affiliations you should be associated with, what kind of pictures and updates and messages that you should put. There are some people who like to post everything of inspirational and motivational, like rock the Dwayne Johnsons, you can always do it. Then Richard Branson, I thought I always succeed even though I kept failing. Whatever. Warren Buffett, it's not what people think. Whatever motivational, inspirational stuff that you put, okay, fine. So you're trying to position yourself as a motivational guy. However, is that so unique that makes you stand out? I know of one guy who wanted a banking job, and he used to do the inspirational, motivational, forwards. I asked him to restructure it and start putting everything related to Islamic finance, because he was into Islamic finance. He started putting only stuff related to Islamic finance, not just banking, Islamic finance. And very soon he started to get job offers because of those posts and because of those articles that he wrote. So external point of view is what you should and should not show, position, or communicate to the outside world. Internal point of view is what kind of people should you be dealing with? What is your price point of saying yes or no? What will you accept or not accept? What are your terms and conditions, your do's and don'ts? So these points form your personal brand essence. Remember, it's like a flavor, it's like a smell, it's like an experience. So when people take your name, for example, when they speak a lot in Machedo, they know you'll get bad words, you'll get shock value, but you will get hardcore educational stuff. Okay. Last, if not the least, is the personal brand evolution. Now, by personal brand evolution, it means that it kind of covers the fact that we are in a dynamic and changing environment where nothing remains the same. What is applicable today is no longer valid tomorrow. Like apps are getting updated every 2 months or 3 months or 6 months. New phones are coming out every year. New models are coming out. New technologies are coming out that make the older one obsolete. So in the same way, are you also evolving the same way? Are you changing the same way? Are you developing the same way? Or are you the same person that we could see the last 5 years who has not changed? Are you working in the same company with the same job, with the same income? So that is the question you need to ask yourself. If you're getting the same income, the same position with the same company, given the fact that there's inflation, given the fact that people are progressing, given the fact that there's new competition, and you're in the same place, means you're dying. You're seriously dying. And that is where you really need to think hard of what are you doing and where are you headed? Because if you're remaining in the same place, that means you are dying slowly but surely. So the personal brand evolution is where you try to grow, you try to evolve, and that is where a personal mentoring relationship comes into play. I'm not saying come to me. Go to somebody who you can look up to as a coach, as a mentor, but have a professional contract. Don't have just this casual relationship. Have something with a sense of urgency that within the next 6 months to 1 year, I have to get this salary increase of 20%. If I don't, it's not working out. It's like having a race that you want to run for, and you give yourself a time-bound target. Because when you know, okay, I'm going to run this marathon, and I've not yet started, then you know, okay, I need to divide the 12 months. I need to divide it into 54 weeks. I need to plan out what I'm going to do this week, next week, and progressively build so that I can run, 42 kilometers. Because if you cannot run 21 within 6 months, you cannot run 10 within 3 months. You cannot run 42 in 12 months. So, it's a breakdown of those goals. In the same way, you need to have your evolution measurable. You need to hold yourself accountable, and that is how you'll achieve success. So, guys, these are the 7 points in terms of, how you can get a better job through a personal branding journey. I'll just encapsulate the 7 points. That is the personal brand assessment. Make sure that you get assessed properly. Then you have a personal brand redesign, where you find out where you are, and then you start having a game plan to change yourself. Then point number 3 starts with your resume, because that is the document by which people see your trailer or see and get to know about you. Then you move into your personal brand sales pitch, not just interviews, but how you communicate. Then comes the personal brand communication in itself, which is external, like an advertisement that you always do, what people get as an experience. The next one moves to point number 6 is the personal brand essence, just like a flavor or a thought. When people think of you, what is it that they feel, experience, think, and see? And finally, the personal brand evolution, which is your overall growth and your strategy to move towards your goal. So if you focus on these 7 things, these 7 points, I'm pretty sure that you will get better job offers, you'll get better salary offers, you'll get better positions, and you'll climb up. Because remember, end of the day, it doesn't make sense if you're getting the same salary, you are in the same position, year after year after year, because that means you're not growing and the world is moving forward. So anyway, this is Lloyd from Machedo.com, who's Lloyd Machedo with Personal Branding, sharing with you his views. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like it, give it a thumbs down. Love to read your comments. This is me signing off for now. Take care.